Hello there, I'm producing this video for the benefit of Year 10 students. Usually by this time of the year you will have sat a set of past GCSE papers as part of your end of year assessment. Clearly that hasn't happened this year due to the circumstances we find ourselves in. Instead, when those of you that went into school worked through something called the walking talking mocks. This is a way of practicing and improving exam technique as well as seeing past paper style questions. You will have looked at the paper 1 from the walking talking mock, and you will have been given the paper 2 to do for homework, and your teachers will have put up now, or they will be about to put up, these documents again for those that didn't go into school, and the paper 3. Now paper 1 is a non-calculator paper, with papers 2 and 3 being calculator. For each paper there are 3 documents. There is a question paper, which will be abbreviated as QP on Show My Homework, a mark scheme, abbreviated to MS, and the screen that I'm looking at now is the first slide from the PowerPoint produced by Pixel, taking students through the mock, helping them to work on exam technique and giving a real indication of what they need to do to get each mark. I'm just going to start this PowerPoint off to explain how it works. Okay, so if you are in school and you are a foundation student, you will have seen this exact document already. So in the walking talking mock, obviously you got the question number, and they start talking about chilies, which is quite a nice way of dividing up the questions. The 1 chili questions, these are the questions that you should be getting full marks on, ideally. Sometimes, however, people do drop marks on these questions because they are the first few questions on the paper, and we are always a little bit nervous at the start of an exam. So in the first in the 1 chili questions, it actually has answered the questions for you, but there are a number of errors. Now this is designed to get you to check your work. So go through these questions and try and pick out the mistakes that people have made. It then moves on to 2 chili questions. These are the questions where you want to be getting most of the marks. And then the challenging questions. These are the questions where if you've got everything right up to now, the chances are you're well on your way to getting your target grade. And anything you get here is a bonus. So as we go through the presentation, keep an eye out for, as you go through the presentation, keep an eye out for any extra warning signs. It just gives you extra exam tips. You'll also see a number on a white background in a red circle. That number will increase as and when the marks are awarded. So here is an example of one of the 1 chili questions where the question asks you to identify the midpoint of a line segment. They've answered this one for you, and they've marked the midpoint correctly on the line, but they have written down the coordinates as -1, 1.5, so they have actually got their x and y coordinates the wrong way round. That is a typical mistake that we may make early on in a paper when we're a little bit nervous, so it's worth really making sure we're checking those. And if I move on to one more question, here's an example of a 2 chili question. First part, write 4/20 as a percentage, so that's just a 1 mark question. They've answered it correctly as 20% because it's 20/100ths or 20%, and they get the 1 mark. The second part of that question, work out 30% of 72. They've put a little indication on the screen that there is more than 1 method. So if you use a different method to the one in the PowerPoint but get the same answer, you still get full marks. And they start showing the working out. So they find 10% of 72 by divided by 10. And then if you show an understanding that you need to multiply that by 3 to get 30%, you'll see the number of marks has changed to 1. That means you would get 1 mark out of the 2 available for this part of the question for doing that. And then the second mark for when you get the correct answer. Now you'll notice when it's a money question, it's £21.60, not 21.6, which they've indicated there. Okay, and they give you a little warning saying currency units, because we write our decimals slightly differently when we're talking about money than when we're talking about numbers. Hopefully you find the 3 papers and the accompanying documents useful, and please, if you do have any confusion, do get in touch with your maths teacher. Thank you for watching this clip, and take care. Bye-bye.